Hey, what's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thank you so much for taking the time to check my video out. And today we're going to be doing a video on EDH Cards Worth the Money, Part 2. I have done the first part, which I will list in the down bar below, as well as all the cards that I mentioned in case you forget one. But basically, the reason that I kind of started these videos is because a lot of times there's cards that people spend money on and you're like, is that card worth the hype? Like, is it really good? And these are cards that either I've personally played with or I've seen other people play with that I'm like, that card did work. I totally think that this card is worth the money. Now, some of these are way more expensive than others. I just want to say some of these are like $7, $8 cards, and for some people that is spending a lot of money on the card, so don't be like sipping on the haterade, be like, Tracy, $10 is not a lot to spend on a Magic card. Like, for some people that is, so let's just chill. The first card that I want to talk about is Cavern of Souls. I truly think that Cavern of Souls is worth it. I have this card in my Merfolk deck. This card is really good for a lot of reasons. It's really good if you're playing a, let's just say like 5-color tribal deck or 4-color tribal deck, or just like any type of tribal deck that you're running more than one color, because if you choose to cast that creature spell, it's of any color to cast it, which is really good. So if you're playing with a lot of like specialty lands or things like that, or you're maybe not necessarily playing with a lot of basics, it's really good so that you can play those spells and not really worry about their mana cost. So I really like Cavern of Souls for that reason. It is a little bit pricey, but I do think that it's worth it. I run it in Merfolk, and Paul runs it in one of his decks, and I have actually like blown people out. Like, I was playing Merfolk a couple weeks ago, and someone like tried to counter my thing, and I was like, Cavern of Souls, you actually can't counter it. And they were so blown away by that. They were like, oh, forgot about that. So, this card is really, really strong. I like it a lot, and I think it's definitely worth the money for any type of tribal deck. The next card, I don't own this card, and this is actually a card for myself to get, which is Herald's Horn. Guys, this card is so good. One of my friends, Logan, actually, he runs this in his Goblin deck, and this card does work. Okay, it's 3-mana artifact, so you can run it in everything, which is boss. You choose a creature type, and the creature spells cost 1 less. Hello, that's amazing. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you may put it into your hand. That is such good card advantage, and I love it because if you're running this in a deck that, like, for example, you're running this in a deck where, like, you don't necessarily have as much like ways of drawing cards or things like that, this gives you really sweet card advantage, and also gives you access to information. If you don't for some reason like have a creature on top of your deck, you can just like see what card it is, because a lot of times I'll be in instances where I'm like, do I wipe the board, do I play a creature, I don't really know like what to do. This gives you like access to information to tell you what's on top of your deck. This card is a little bit pricey. It's only been printed once if I'm recalling correctly, and it's really, really strong. I truly hope this card gets a reprint. It's really good, and I really need to get one for Angels. This card is so good. Okay, the next card, this is a newer card, so for all of my birthing mom fans out there, which that name just makes me laugh, Prime Speaker Vannifar. This card is so good, y'all. I have it in Tasigur, and I know a bunch of people are playing Prime Speaker as their commander, but I think this card works really well in like Tasigur, Muldrotha decks, any type of like graveyardy kind of like types of decks. She's so good. She literally is Birthing Pod on a stick. Oh, she's so good. I'm like so happy that this card was printed. And it's just really good. She's also like a 2/4, so she's got like a really big butt, and this card's just really good. I like it a lot. Okay, the next card is Vedalken Orrery. My friend Travis always is like, thinks this card is like one of my staples, because he's like, every time I play against you, you like always have Vedalken Orrery out. And it's not true. I only have Vedalken Orrery in 2 decks. I think I have it in Tasigur and Angels. I don't think I have it in anything else. This card is so good. You know, rest in peace, Prophet of Krufix. If you guys were with me, you were there in the days of Prophet of Krufix, and that card truly has my heart, and I really do miss it, and this card really does help me achieve Prophet of Krufix status without having Prophet of Krufix. Just everything about this card, I love it. It's also an artifact, so you can literally run it in everything, and honestly, I need this in like every deck. I just don't have, not in every deck. I don't need it in every deck, but I do need it in most. This card is so good. Playing at instant speed is like the best thing ever. And if you have something like where you untap all your permanents, which there are so many of those, this card is baller. Okay, then speaking of build your own Prophet, Seedborn Muse. This card is so worth it, y'all. It is worth it for so many reasons, because I run this card in, like, I think I own, like, 3 of this card. I run it in 3 of my different decks, and I, like, don't regret a single thing. You untap all permanent. So this is, like, hype. There are so many ways to, like, build your own profit. This with, like, Alchemist Refuge, because you're playing green, so if you're playing blue, you can play this. I run this card in so many of my decks because it's just so amazing. It's also permanent. It's not just creatures, so you untap your lands. It works really well into with Tasigur because you can, like, untap and you can activate Tasigur's ability. This is good in, like, basically everything. Like, every deck that runs green, like, should just get this card. It is so worth it. It's, like $13. You need this card. We're talking about a lot of green, just because it's my favorite EDH color. But the next card is Worldy Tutor. Oh, I love this card. I swear I'm always in, like, a really good position whenever I cast a Worldy Tutor. It's good in so many different instances. Any type of green deck that's running creatures, which is most of them, you're going to want this card in there. I never feel bad about casting this card. It does go on top of your library, so it's, like, just something to note. It does not go to your hand, but it's also instant speed for 1 mana. This is, like, the card that you cast this card at the end of your opponent's turn before you take your turn. That's pretty much when you cast this card, unless you're, like, drawing into it from some other reason, but this card is just so good. This card also, I feel like, needs a reprint. I feel like it hasn't been reprinted recently. Okay, the next card is Aura Shards. This is one card that I own 2 of this card. I own 1 in Rune and 1 in Ladies, and I, like, truly don't regret spending the, like, $20 for this card. It is so good. This is, like, an answer to just every artifact and every enchantment that you could realistically ever need. Any type of creature deck that runs these colors really does need an Aura Shards, because you are able to deal with just every artifact or enchantment. This does get hated out. I will just say this is one of the first, like, if you play this card, it's going to be removed, but even if so, like, it's just so good. Having access to just being able to remove everything is, like, so good. Okay, a lot of green cards, I touched on this video, a lot of green-white cards, but the next is Marara's Wake. I always feel like I am in a great position whenever I cast my Marara's Wake. I cast it last night, I was playing Ladies last night, and I was just like, I have so much mana, this is amazing, and also my team gets bigger. Like, this card just, like, does everything in one. Like, I feel like you honestly could have just said, you get double mana, but the fact that you creatures get +1/+1 is just an added bonus. Like, I think this card overall is just absolutely fantastic, and it is so worth it. So worth it. I need this card in foil. I bet it'll be boss. Okay, the next card is Damnation. Now, if you're gonna say, Tracy, do I really, if I'm playing, like, black-white, for example, do I need a Damnation? I would probably argue no. There's so many other access to white. You have so many great white board wipes, and you also have, like, black-white, like Kaya's Wrath that just came out. So I would argue probably not, but, like, if you're just playing a black deck, or you're playing a deck that has black in it, and you're playing it with another color that doesn't have a board wipe, like black-blue, for example. Like, blue has a little bit of bounce spells, but if you want, like, destroy, Damnation is really worth it. I feel like you just can't go wrong with this card. Like, I got this card for Tasigur, and I feel so good about it. And it's just, like, if you're just playing a card and you have, like, limited access to colors, this is such a good addition to have in your deck. It's only 4 mana, which is truly nothing in EDH land. It truly doesn't mean anything. I love this card. I feel very strongly about it, and I think this card is so sweet. And I think we're ending on truly a fabulous note, and that is to talk about the Jellyfish. Oh my god, y'all. Like, Paul got this card for me for Tasigur, and I am so happy that I own this card, because I would have felt very wary about spending my money on it because it's pretty expensive. It's also, I don't know about anything about Standard. Is it being used in Standard? Please let me know. This card is amazing. It truly does live up to the hype and the money that it is worth. So you gain half life and draw half cards, but it enters the battlefield with X counters. Now, something that I think some people misread is that if say you cast this card for 10, so technically it's 5. It doesn't become a 5/5. It becomes a 10/10 with flying and trample, and you gain half the life. So you gain 5 life and draw 5 cards. Like, this is such a good card at really any, like, late stages of the game. This is a great mid-range card. It's a really great, like, end game card in Tasigur. This is, like, just think of, like, if you think of, like, a control deck in Modern, and, like, this is a great end of game card to, like, win the game and, like, close the game out, and this card really truly does it. I think this card is honestly one of my favorite cards ever printed, and it being a Jellyfish is truly an added bonus. It does not make this card, like, it just makes the card better for me, but it's not why I love the card so much. I love this card because it truly does work. It closes out games real fast. They kill it. You bring it back. You get to recast it. It is just, in Tasigur, like, it is truly just one of the best cards in the deck, and I am so happy that I own it. So, guys, that is it. I would really like to know what cards you think are worth the money, and if you list a really good card, you know that I will definitely be jotting it down in my magic notebook and mentioning it for the next video. But thank you so much for checking this video out, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!